Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from Greedy Tech, and in this video I'll be talking about all the best features of ASUS ZenFone Max Pro M2 along with some important tips and tricks. First I'll be showing you the best features, and after that I'll be showing you some tips and tricks, so if you're bored anywhere, just skip ahead, but make sure you check out the tips and tricks section for sure. Now with that said, the best thing about this phone would definitely be its processor. This phone sports a Snapdragon 660 processor with Adreno 512 GPU built using the 14nm architecture. These are the Geekbench scores. For some reason I'm not able to install Antutu on this phone. Anyway, this phone is a powerhouse when it comes to performance, and at the time of its launch it was the cheapest phone to come with a Snapdragon 660 processor at just a base price of 13,000 rupees. If you are someone who likes to play a lot of games, especially PUBG, then this phone can deliver you the best gaming experience at the cheapest price. The next best thing about this phone would be the battery. This phone packs a massive 5000 mAh battery, and that in combination with stock Android and a power efficient processor means this phone can definitely survive 2 days even on normal to high usage. I've used this phone for a long time, and on average it gave me at least 6 to 8 hours of screen on time and lasted me more than 1.5 days. Now the next best thing about this phone would be the entire design and build. Now right out of the bat, this phone comes with a Corning Gorilla Glass 6 on the front for protection, and ASUS is heavily marketing as if this phone will not break at all. I have never dropped the phone, so I can't say about that, but Corning Gorilla Glass 6 is definitely pretty strong. I have been using this phone for about 10 days without any screen guard or tempered glass as a regular phone, and still there are no scratches, not even the minute ones. And on the back, this phone has a fiberglass with a nice 3D curve to it with a mirror-like finish. Well, it does look quite premium, but besides that, it feels pretty great to hold without any case. Now that's pretty rare to see for a phone with this form factor and this build quality. Even the weight distribution has been done really well. Even though this phone packs a massive 5000 mAh battery, phone feels pretty comfortable to hold single-handedly. Doesn't feel all that heavy at all. Now the next best thing about this phone would be the display. This phone packs a 6.26-inch IPS display with Full HD Plus resolution, with 450 nits of brightness and 88% screen to body ratio. Viewing angles and sunlight eligibility is great, and even the picture quality of this display is pretty good and probably one of the best displays in the price segment. Now the next best thing about this phone would be the cameras. This phone sports a dual camera setup on the rear with a 12MP primary camera with f1.8 aperture with a Sony IMX486 sensor. That's followed by a 5MP secondary camera for depth sensing or to take portrait shots. On the front, it sports a 13MP camera with f2.0 aperture. Now these are the sample pictures. They are definitely not the best in the price segment, but they are quite good. And considering other things this phone offers, cameras are pretty good. Next, this phone even offers portrait mode for both the front and rear cameras. When the phone was first launched, it only supported portrait mode for the rear camera, but with the latest update released on December 21st, this phone even supported portrait selfies. For some reason, while I was recording this video, I still didn't get the update, so I couldn't show it right now. But with the latest update, this phone will support portrait mode for both the front and rear cameras. Now going on next, this phone even comes with a dedicated SD card slot. If you need a lot of storage, or even if you are tight on a budget and get the 32GB variant, you can still pop in an SD card and have access to a lot more storage. Now the next best thing about this phone would be the speaker loudness. This phone comes with a 5-magnet speaker and an amplifier. Despite what all these specifications say, speaker on this phone is pretty loud. Here's a quick preview. Now the next feature on this phone is Face Unlock. Even though this phone comes with pure stock Android or so-called pure stock Android, it still has the famous Face Unlock feature, and it works quite well. Next we have ambient display. Now once you enable this feature, every time you get a notification, display lights up and gives you a quick preview of that notification. By the way, you still have the LED notification light, just in case if you're wondering. Next, it has a feature called Smart Screen. So once you enable this feature, as long as you're looking at the phone, your phone doesn't sleep. Now this feature might be really useful if you read a lot on your phone. Next, it has a feature called Night Light. On other phones, it's called as night mode or reading mode. So once you enable this feature, it puts a warm tint on the screen and filters the blue light. According to a research, using smartphones at night will affect your sleep because of the blue light emitted by the display. So once you enable this feature, it filters all the blue light by putting a warm tint on the screen. You can also change the intensity of the tint and schedule it to turn on and turn off automatically. Next, we have a gesture to double tap to turn off the screen. So once you enable this feature, you can double tap on an empty area on your home screen to turn it off, or you can double tap in an empty area on the lock screen to turn off the screen. Next, we have double tap to wake up. Once you enable this feature, you can double tap when your phone is locked to wake it up. This feature can be quite useful if you use Face Unlock a lot. Just double tap the screen, it'll wake up, see your face, and then unlock the phone immediately. Now going on next, this phone even supports dual 4G and dual VoLTE. So on this phone, we can use two Jio SIMs at the same time and use two SIMs in 4G network at the same time. With that said, there is still no support for native video calling. So guys, those were all the best features. Now let's look at some important tips and tricks. First, I'll show you how you can use split screen mode. Now this might be something you already know, but there are multiple ways to use split screen mode. So to use any application in a split screen mode or to use two applications in split screen mode, this is what you can do. Press and hold the recent tabs button. Then the current application will open in the top window and you can select the secondary application from the list below. Now let me just do that. Now you can also resize these windows by swiping this button or the bar top or bottom. Now as you can see, I'm not able to do that. That's because of the display size. So let's first change that. I'm going to settings. To change the display size, first go to display, then select display size and from here select small. Now once you do that, go back and from now on you can resize those windows. So let me just open two applications now. Now I can pull this bar down and use the primary application in a bigger window. Now this particular setup is really useful, especially while watching videos. So we can do something like this and you can do your work while watching a video. So that's pretty cool. Now split screen mode has been on Android for a very long time, but it is still not supported by all the applications. So to use all applications in split screen mode, this is what you need to do. Go to settings, then select system, then select about phone. Now click the build number 7 times. Once you do that, developer options will be enabled. Now go back and select developer options. Now scroll all the way to the bottom and enable force activities to be resizable and then restart the phone. Once you do that, you will be able to use all the applications in a split screen mode. Now for some very quick tips, while watching videos on YouTube, you can do a pin gesture to go full screen. Now as you can see, this is the default video format. This is the 16:9 aspect ratio and you can see two black bars on either side. So if you want to go full screen or to use this complete area, you can do a pin gesture, video simply crops and you get a much more immersive experience. We still can't use the complete notch area, but still this is pretty good enough. Now going on next, if you want to display the battery percentage on the status bar, like on my phone, go to settings, then select battery. Now enable this toggle. Once you do that, you can see the battery percentage on the status bar. Now going on next, if you want to change your default launcher on your phone, go to settings, then select apps and notification, then scroll down and select advanced, then select default applications or default apps. Now from this place you can change your default browser, default home application, that's your default launcher, default phone dialer and default messaging application. So if you want to change your launcher to something like Novo Launcher, this is where you need to come, select home app and select Novo Launcher from here. Now for the final tip, I'll show you how you can change the theme of your phone. There are two themes on this phone, default and dark mode, and this is currently the dark mode. You get a dark background for the notification toggles. Even the app drawer has a dark background to it, and that's it. Rest of the areas are pretty much the same on both themes. Now on this phone there is no option to directly change the theme. Like on Motorola we have the option to change it in the display settings, but we don't have that on this phone. So if you want to change the theme of your phone, you need to change your wallpaper. If you have a dark wallpaper, you get the dark theme like I did. And if I change the wallpaper to something more lighter, we get the lighter theme. Now as you can see, we get a white background for the notification toggles. And this is how the app drawer looks like now. By the way, I'm using this wallpaper changer application to change the wallpapers with double tap. It's not an inbuilt feature. Now going on next, if you want to enable dark mode for your phone dialer and messaging application, you need to open Messages application, click this button over here, then select Enable Dark Mode. Once you do that, dark mode will be enabled for Messages application and the default phone dialer. So guys, those were the best features and most important tips and tricks for your ASUS ZenFone Max Pro M2. If I missed out on anything important, do let me know by commenting below this video. And if you're planning to buy this phone, please use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. And if you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and I'll try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.